Brace yourselves, dear viewers. This is the final Jane Fitzcostellia and Friends video for a while. We're taking a brief respite, a brief journey to the land of relaxation and rejuvenation. And we see it, the glisten of tears in the corners of your eyes, particularly our dear Barbara and Stephen. You've been with us through thick and thin, and we can't thank you enough for that. But fret not, this is not a goodbye, but a see you later. It's a pause, not a full stop. We're merely stepping away for a spell, gathering new tales to tell. Mark your calendars, for on Friday the 16th of May 2025, we'll be back, energised and ready to take you on more thrilling adventures with Jane Fitzcostellia and her remarkable friends. Dry those tears, dear viewers. We promise to return with more thrilling adventures of Jane Fitzcostellia and friends. Before we move on to the next adventure, let's take a quick detour into the kitchen. Today, we will be taking a look at a truly delightful recipe: black bean and avocado stuffed sweet potatoes. A dish that's as hearty as it is healthy, perfect for our candy floss friends and you, our dear viewers. Here are the ingredients you'll need: 2 large sweet potatoes, a can of black beans, 1 ripe avocado, a red onion, a clove of garlic, a handful of fresh cilantro, a sprinkle of cumin, a dash of chili powder, and a squeeze of lime. First, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and poke holes all over the sweet potatoes. Bake them for about 45 minutes or until they're tender. While they're baking, sauté your diced onion and minced garlic until they're fragrant. Add in the black beans, the spices, and a squeeze of lime. Let that all simmer together until it's heated through. Once the sweet potatoes are done, let them cool a bit before cutting them open and fluffing the insides with a fork. Then, spoon your black bean mixture right into the sweet potatoes. Top it off with diced avocado, a sprinkle of fresh cilantro, and another squeeze of lime. Now, with this delicious recipe in your arsenal, let's dive back into our thrilling adventures. Remember, dear viewers, a well-fed adventurer is a happy adventurer. So until next time, keep your aprons ready and your taste buds excited. Just before we leap into the heart of our tale, let's take a moment or two to talk about Miss Belle Pum. Miss Belle Pum is a name you must not forget. She's a character that comes to life within the stories we narrate here at Jane Fitzcostellia and Friends. And today we're introducing you to her sister Howve and her sugary sweet children, Pole, Nuddles and Zoe. Howve, just like her daughter Zoe, is made entirely of candy floss. She is round, delightful, and echoes her Miss Belle Pum's charm. The sweetness doesn't stop there though. Let's meet her children. Pole, the elder, is a polar bear. He possesses the coolness of the Arctic breeze and all the protective instincts of a big brother. Nuddles, the youngest of the lot, is a female golden bear. She may be the smallest, but her wisdom surpasses age, making her the voice of reason in this candy floss family. Our middle child here is Zoe, who is as flossy as her auntie Miss Belle Pum and her mother. Sporting short yellow hair and pigtails, Zoe mirrors mother's roundness and is made of candy as well. But what's a story without a little trouble? Here comes Horse-magorse, the goody two-shoes who never misses a chance to paint Miss Belle Pum and her family as mischievous and outrageous. Yes, Horse-magorse is Miss Belle Pum's arch-enemy. Despite his constant meddling, this sugary sweet family stands up to him with courage and wit. Here at Jane Fitzcostellia and Friends, we see them as true heroes. So as we take a brief break, the faces, stories and adventures of Miss Belle Pum, her sister Howve, and niece and nephews in your heart. Rest assured, there are plenty more thrilling tales waiting for you when we return. Until then, let the spirit of Jane Fitzcostellia and Friends keep the adventure alive in your hearts. Before we move on to the next adventure, let's take a quick detour into the kitchen. Yes, you guessed it right. Miss Belle Pum is back with her culinary prowess. After the unfortunate Easter Bunny incident, she's decided to redeem herself with a delightful, simple and foolproof recipe: black bean and avocado stuffed sweet potatoes. This dish is not just a treat for your taste buds, but also a feast for your eyes. The ingredients you'll need are 4 medium-sized sweet potatoes, 1 can of black beans, rinsed and drained, 2 ripe avocados, diced. Now let's get cooking. First, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Poke the sweet potatoes with a fork a few times and bake them for 50 minutes or until they're soft and easily pierced with a fork. While the sweet potatoes are baking, mix together the black beans, diced avocados, chopped bell pepper, sweet corn, cilantro, lime juice, salt and pepper in a large bowl. Once the sweet potatoes are done, let them cool for a bit before slicing them open lengthwise. Spoon the black bean and avocado mixture into each sweet potato, and voila! Your black bean and avocado stuffed sweet potatoes are ready to be served. Now, with this delicious recipe in your arsenal, let's dive back into our thrilling adventures. Remember, though our stories are filled with twists and turns, there's always room for a little culinary delight. Who knows? Maybe next time you'll be the one cooking up a storm in the kitchen. Lastly, let's revisit the wild party Ms. Belle Pum threw at Howve's place. Now, this wasn't your everyday gathering. No, this was a party that would go down in the annals of Jane Fitzcostellia and Friends history. The night was young and the house was abuzz with laughter and chatter. Suddenly the room fell silent as the notorious Horse-Magorse made his unexpected entrance. Ms. Belle Pum was taken aback. Her arch-rival was here in her sister's home. This was a curveball she hadn't anticipated, but ever the quick thinker, Ms. Belle Pum hatched a plan. As the host of the party, Ms. Belle Pum was in charge of refreshments. With a twinkle in her eye, she concocted a unique menu, enlisting the help of her three peculiar friends, the vomiting sheep. Soup made from their regurgitated grass, saliva water, and a dessert featuring a chocolate sauce with a rather distinctive origin were served to the unsuspecting guests. As the food and drinks circulated, the reactions were immediate and intense. Guests began to feel queasy, their faces turning green. One by one, they succumbed to an unfortunate bout of sickness. The air was filled with a chorus of retching sounds, a spectacle that was as bizarre as it was unforgettable. Among the guests was a mother nursing her baby. As she burped her infant, the child couldn't resist joining in the chaos, adding its own contribution to the mix. It was a scene straight out of a slapstick comedy, only this was real life. The party reached a crescendo when an elderly lady, in her distress, accidentally released a gust of wind on a cookbook. The sight of Horse-Magorse, the self-proclaimed goody-two-shoes running out of the house with his tail between his legs, was the cherry on top of this wild party. And with that explosive party, we bid you adieu. Until we meet again, remember, the world of Jane Fitzcostellia and Friends is never short of thrilling adventures. Concluding our wild tales for now, we revisit the shenanigans involving the notorious Ms. Belle Pum. Just the other day, she put on quite a show when hosting a wildly unconventional party at Howve's residence. Her eyes bulged, heart pounded, and she nearly soiled herself when the infamous Horse-Magorse made an entrance. But quick-witted as she is, Miss Pum then concocted an ingenious plan to oust this uninvited guest. Gathering her trusty crew of three peculiar friends, the vomiting sheep, she devised a daringly repulsive menu. Sheep vomit served as soup, drool as a refreshing beverage, and to cap it all off, they used the diarrhea as a chocolate sauce for ice cream, which had an undoubtedly questionable origin. This unholy feast was presented to all 300 unsuspecting attendees. The aftermath, as you can imagine, was nothing short of a disaster. Some guests were so appalled they emptied their stomachs through their noses. One man regurgitated so violently it hit a ceiling fan and sprayed on at least 20 people. A woman wailed as she spewed vomit instead of tears, accidentally feeding her baby this vile mix, who in return spewed up the milky substance. A heart-rending sight indeed. Then, a curious infant vomited into its mother's breast while feeding, causing the mother's milk to induce non-stop vomiting for the next month. An elderly woman even passed wind on a cookbook as Horse-Magorse bolted from the house, retching uncontrollably. So, as we wrap up this chapter filled with laughs, shock and major second-hand embarrassment, let's all remember to always scrutinise the menu at Miss Belle Pum's parties, because when it comes to the world of Jane Fitzcostellia and Friends, even the most innocent of gatherings can lead to a sweeping saga of gastronomic misadventures.